Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Urchin Fridays. Today we are on the Sea Urchin embryo. Oh my God, embryology website. So here we go. Natural history summary. Interesting information about the sea urchin. There are no freshwater echinoderms, which may be why people associate the sea with sea urchin starfish more than any other organism. Echinoderms are a very successful group, first showing up in the fossil record of 600,000 years ago, 600 million years ago, plus years ago. Though at their peak there is as many as 20,000 species, there are still a respectable 6,000 species today. They occur at all depths and in all climates. See the classification tree. We'll be primarily concerned with sea urchins, 7,000 species, as this is the organism that we use in our work. What they lack in species, they make up for in numbers. It is thought that the primary macroscopic organism on the deep sea floor is a sea urchin. Pop off. And here's some sea urchin remains, or fossilized sea urchin remains. Habitat. Sea urchins live only in the ocean and cannot survive in fresh water. They are found from the intertidal to the deep ocean. The species that we are likely to use in the lab are either from the intertidal or the shallow subtidal. In the intertidal, sea urchins often wear away at the rock over generations, spruce hollows in which they are partially protected from predators. Note the dark color of sea urchins. Could this offer protection from UV? These urchin beds can extend for acres in the intertidal and house tens of thousands of sea urchins and many other life forms. Not much in the way of seaweed grows in the intertidal that the sea urchins have not already mowed down. They then feed on seaweed that washes up into the intertidal by winter storms from the subtidal regions. This may explain why these species are most gravid in the winter months. A shallow subtidal can consist of open areas of sand and rock, or in large underwater forests called kelp forests. Distribution: a species used at SUE. Strong Leocentrotis francicanus, red sea urchin up to 10 inches diameter, and C. purpuratus, purple sea urchin up to 5 inches in diameter, are shown in light purple, Baja to Alaska. S. Drobachensis, green sea urchin, 4 to 5 inches diameter, in green, and Licentius pictus, 1 to 2 inches diameter, in yellow. See classification. Monterey in red. Okay. Nice. Eating and eaten. The primary food of many sea urchin species is seaweed. Here in Monterey Bay, the primary food species is macro macrocystis pyrifera, or giant kelp. The seaweed can grow several feet in one day. As you can see in the picture to the right, there are no pictures to the right. Okay. A giant kelp called the elk kelp, Pelagophysus. Pora grows in Southern California, pictured in the right. You can get an appreciation of its size by comparing it to the person on the image to the left. Oh, wow, that's actually kind of big. Sea urchins are also known to eat meat, including each other. No wonder they have spines. What? Different strategies are employed to catch the food. Some species will hang out in their rock burrows, carved out of solid rock by years of rubbing their spines against the rock, and wait for seaweed to come to them. This works pretty well in the intertidal. Not surprisingly, the breeding season for Strongylocentrosis purpuratus corresponds with the influx of kelp broken off in the winter storms. Other species actively search out kelp from yards away, smelling their favorite food in the water and making a line straight for it, as in the case of the subtidal urchin Licentius pictus. In the absence of predators, sea urchins can really do a number on a kelp bed. The area becomes the subtidal equivalent of a desert. Many other non-urchin species depend on kelp for food as well as shelter. When the sea urchins have done their work, a whole community disappears. That's pretty L, but that's because they don't like sea urchins. Sea urchins are based. Kelp grows from the tip by splitting off the terminal frond. Unfortunately, sea urchins attack at the base, often cutting the entire plant loose from the ocean floor. See ecology nightmare. Everything is eaten by something, either larger or smaller parasites than themselves. Sea urchins are no exception. Along the west coast, the two dominant predators are humans and to lesser extent sea otters. In 2000, California, 20 million pounds of sea urchins were harvested. I'm going to be honest, I say limbs sometimes when I sell LBS, even though I know it's pounds. 20 million pounds of sea urchins were harvested, primarily from markets in Japan. There's a decline from nearly 52 million pounds in 1988 through sea otters. Those sea otters eat an impressive amount of food, consuming their own body weight in hours. Oh, yeah. In hours, they do not come close to humans in their destructiveness. The next largest predator is another echinoderm, the starfish. Come in a variety of shapes, colors, and sizes. They all love sea urchins. Starfish eat by wrapping themselves around the sea urchin and then everting their stomach against the sea urchin to dissolve away the flesh and shell, eventually getting to the succulent interior of the sea urchin. Some fish, such as the parrotfish, can crush the shell and eat a tasty sea urchin interior very quickly. A variety of worms either eat sea urchin or hide in their spines for protection. Seagulls prey upon intertidal sea urchins. They use their beaks to break open the shells and eat the gonads inside to protect themselves. Intertidal sea urchins will pile rocks and shells on top of each other. Over generations, they create scooped-out burrows in the soft rock, sometimes trapping themselves in a self-made prison. Bacteria also take their toll. There have been infections in years of bad weather or poor food supply when the population is more susceptible. Strongylocentorus species suffer from attacks from common bacteria in the ocean of the Rhidospirillum genus. These bacteria are purple, like the urchin, and cause purple necrotic spots to appear on the outside of the sea urchin. The spines and two feet fall off in this area, and eventually the infection eats its way to the shell, killing the urchin. Surprisingly, the sea urchin can live for months with the hole in its side. That's kind of based. If you ever get this infection or take a sea urchin, the antibiotic chlorophenicol is very effective in treating the infection. 1 gram of 50 gallons per 50 gallons of tank seawater. Commensals. Besides the worms already mentioned, small fish will hide in the spines, as well as the young sea urchins. And you have the smaller bits of leftovers from adults. Hermit crabs will often hang near sea urchins to eat leftovers also, as well as finish off any sea urchin that falls prey to another organism or dies of sickness. Indicator organisms. Sea urchins are used in public aquariums as indicator organism for water quality. If there is something wrong with the tank, sea urchins will be the first organism to show signs of distress, stop moving, spine side down, and of course death. Makes them excellent organisms for studies on pollution. The Environmental Protection Agency uses sea urchin fertilization developments as an indicator of water quality for waters near our shores and bays. The Experiments Lab makes use of the same idea, and proposing experiments can be done in the classroom. Study the effects of common household pollutants. Pop off.